What's up, guys? I'm Dwayne, and this is Blackboard Gaming, where I teach you about all these great board games that are out there, waiting to be played by you and yours.
I'm a simple man, don't want a complication.
Hey, everybody. I hope everybody out there is doing well. As you can see, my wife Alicia is not with me today. I decided to give her a break. She's getting ready for the end of the school year, make sure all her grades are in and all that. But I was like, okay, I'm cool. You taking a break because that gives me an opportunity to welcome you to my board game wrap-up video for the month of May. And I am really looking forward to talking about some of these games that I played. So in the month of May, I played a total of 21 games. And I played those games 33 plus times. So I've been really busy. I've been trying to get it in, So I'm going to split these games up into two parts. So the first set of games that I'm going to talk about are games that I played with my wife or here at home. And then the second part is games that I was introduced to at my Friday board game meetup. So those are going to be more like first impressions of what I thought about the games. So without wasting any time, let's get right to it. The first game I want to talk about is a game that my wife and I posted a review for earlier this month. And I'm going to leave a link in the description below so you can check it out. But that game is called Decorum. And in Decorum, the players are cooperatively decorating this house. But the challenge is each of the players have hidden agendas that they're trying to achieve when decorating the house. And you win the game when all the players have been fulfilled, which means all of their agendas have been met, So we really did like this game. Now, my wife's not a big fan of deduction games, but I figured that she would like the theme of this game, and I was right. We played it 4 times. It's different scenarios. And what I really enjoyed about this game is, like, when I play a game with my wife, I don't cash talk her, because that's just not her thing. She's not competitive like that. So she is, I want her to enjoy the game. So, but in this game, we were able to go back and forth because we're cooperatively trying to do the same thing, but we were able to go back and forth and like, why would you put that there? What is your problem or something like that? So, and at the end of the game, it's no harm, no foul, because like I said, either we're going to win or we're going to lose. And like I said, I'm going to leave a link in the description below and you can check out a review. But Decorum is a really fun game. I really did enjoy it. And I think it's better. We just played the 2-player. You can play 3 or 4-player and there's different scenarios. But yeah, Decorum, pretty game. Components are really nice. I definitely would check that out. The next game I want to talk about is a game called Word on the Street, which is we did like a overview of it over at Our Family Plays Games Voices. If you haven't checked out Our Family Plays Games, they have a great channel over there. They're making a difference in the board game community, and we contribute to the Voices episodes, which is really, really cool. Those two, Mick and Starla and Grant, are just great people. And so in Word on the Street, the players split up into 2 teams. And they're each trying to come up with words for these different categories. And there's letters that are on the board in the middle of the table. And for every letter of the word you come up with, the letters start coming to your side of the street. And if you're able to, it's like a tug of war with letters. And if you get that letter off your side of the street, you've captured that letter. And the first team to capture 8 letters is the winner of the game. Now, we tried this out with some family members and we really enjoyed it. what I like most about this game is like the different categories. You can easily come up with a word, but the challenge is coming up with a word that utilizes letters that will pull letters that have already made it to the other team's side of the street, and you don't want them to win, so you're trying to get those letters to come back to your side of the street. So word on the street is a great, if you like words, if you consider yourself a wordsmith, this is a great game to have. It's very easy to teach. And my wife has tried it out with her classmates, and she said it was a hit. So that's word on the street. The next game I want to talk about is another game my wife and I posted an overview for, and that game is called Genotype. So in Genotype, the players are geneticists, and we are growing and harvesting pea plants. And in order to harvest these pea plants, we have to draft dice matching the traits that we need, place them on those pea plants, and then we're able to harvest them and score points at the end of the game. Now I gravitate toward this game, one, because it's dice drafting. But the real reason I bought this game, because my wife's a teacher, and they always mention this game when they talk about games that you could teach to students. And so I got this game, we played it, really enjoyed it. She said, okay, when we finished playing it, she said, I really like this game, but sometimes I don't want to be a teacher. And I was like, okay, that's cool. But she said, I do like this game though. So when I feel like being a teacher, we'll play this game. But if I don't want to be away from being the teacher, don't pull this game out. And I understand it, because like I said, I work in the culinary field, so there's sometimes I don't want to play a game where we're working in the kitchen. I get it. So I will leave a link in the description below to our overview of that, and you can see how the game is played, and that is Genotype. The next game is another game we posted a video for, and that game is a game I was introduced to at Dice Tower West. Finally got a chance to play it, and I ended up scoring a copy recently, and that game is called Dice Miner. In Dice Miner, the players are dwarves who are mining this mountain looking for gems, all the while trying to keep an eye out for dragons and rock slides. But we're preparing ourselves with shields and tool dice. And this game is just really quick. Get it in where you can fit it in. Easy to set up, easy to teach, easy to play. Takes less than 30 minutes. And I really enjoy this game, She likes it. It's dice. We're rolling dice. Like I said, she loves dice and games. So we really enjoyed this game. And that is Dice Miner. The next game is a game that she suggested we play. It's a game that when I first started posting videos, I did a video called My Favorite Travel Inspiring Board Games. And one of those games is called Walking in Murano. I introduced this to her a few months ago, and she really enjoys it. And she asked me a couple of days ago, hey, let's play Walking in Murano. And Walking in Murano is another great game that's, easy to set up, easy to teach, easy to play, short play time, get it in where you can fit it in. So in Walking in Murano, we are painters or builders. We're trying to build 5 houses in our personal play area. And the houses have to be of different color. There are certain things that rules we have to pay attention to build this house. And we're drafting cards, different levels of the house, and building them in front of us. And all the houses have to be a different color. And this is another game that teaches you stuff, because I didn't know this was a real thing over in Murano, which is in Venice. And I looked it up, and yes, if you plan on painting your house, the government says, hey, there's certain colors that you can paint your house. It cannot match the house next to it. And I thought that was really cool. We really enjoyed it. This is one of our favorite games, and that is Walking in Murano. The next game is a game that I was introduced this month by my Friday night game group. And I ended up getting a copy, and I wanted to play it with my wife, But we ended up going up to the board game store, Eternal Games, to play it with one of the managers there, because the minimum play count of this game is 3. It's a 3 to 6 player game, and that game is called For Sale. So in For Sale, we are bidding on different properties, and these properties can range from a castle by the sea to a cave in the side of a mountain. And you place your bid, and if you place the highest bid or whatever, you get the highest value house, because these houses got different values, of course. And then that's the first part of the game. And then the second part of the game comes the cards that the sale price. And so we secretly choose the properties that we have obtained in the first part and place it on the table, and then we reveal. And whoever placed the highest highest value property gets the highest sale, and so on. So you can actually, like the cave, you probably got that cave for free, and you ended up selling it for like $8,000. So this, I'm not a person that really goes for bidding games, but I'm finding myself like, okay, I'm starting to, get into them or whatever, and I really enjoyed this game. My wife, she's like okay with it. She was like, I'll give this another shot. But I really did enjoy this game, and it's another get it in where you can fit it in, and that is For Sale. The next game I played with my wife is an oldie but a goodie. We played it at a barbecue at my brother's house, and it is Just One, and which we've talked about extensively on this channel. This is one of our favorite games to introduce to people. It's just really easy to get into. And Just One, cooperative game. You're trying to get the active player to guess one word by coming up with a one-word clue that you're writing down secretively. And then when the reveal comes, whichever words match, they're excluded. So now the active player can only see the words that made it through, And it was received very well. Like I said, this is one of our favorite games to introduce people to, and that's Just One. These next few games are games that I played on my own. So the first game, and I'm just going to briefly mention this game because, I played it this month. I've taught the manager at my board game store how to play it, and that's Ark Nova. Now, I mentioned Ark Nova in the last wrap-up video and the wrap-up video before that, so I'm not going to go in too much more into that one. But the reason I brought it up is because it has gotten its way, it has inched its way into my top 10 board games of all time. And so I had to revisit like my favorite board game of all time to see if Ark Nova is going to take the top spot. And that game is Everdell. And I played that a couple of times, the solo mode against the Rat. And after playing it, I realized Everdell is always going to be my number one. And I know some people out there thinking like, well, wait a minute, you think Everdell is better than Ark Nova? I said, no, I didn't say that. What I mean is, Everdell is my crossover game. It is the game, when I first got into this hobby, I was just playing lighter games. Everdell crossed me over, is the reason why I can play games like Ark Nova. Everdell introduced, it's just worker placement, resource management, tableau building, hand management, all in an aesthetically beautiful package. So thematic, and I just really loved Everdell. It's the game that has crossed my wife over. Now, she hasn't crossed over as far as I have, but she has crossed over. And so she'll play that. If I say, let's play Everdell, she'll play Everdell. But Everdell's the reason she could play some other next step games. And it just has a sense of nostalgia for me. Everdell introduced me to Andrew Bosley, who's like my favorite board game illustrator of all time. If I see another game that has Andrew Bosley art to it, I'm immediately attracted to it. And so, yeah, I love Everdell. And that's another game that I played this month. Speaking of Andrew Bosley art, The next game I want to talk about is a game called Vivid Memories. Now, Vivid Memories, I backed on Kickstarter, and I was attracted to it because Andrew Bosley was the illustrator, and I was attracted to the theme. And in this game, you're reliving childhood memories, which I think is so adorable. Now, I played this game two-handed twice, and people have compared it. I've heard people compare it to Azul because the tiles in it are kind of the same material of Azul. But this is not Azul. I can introduce my wife to Azul. It's a simpler game. This one has a good amount of complexity to it, and it's wrapped up deceptively by this theme of reliving childhood memories. Your board represents like your brain, and what you're trying to do is make certain connections in your brain by moving these tiles all over the place. And as much as, like I said, I was attracted to this game, Andrew Bosley art, but I cannot introduce this game to everybody, but I do like the game. I do really like the game, but I had to find certain people to play this game with. So that's Vivid Memories. The last game I want to talk about in the first part of this video is another game that I backed on Kickstarter, and that game is called Seize the Beam. Now, I played my friend's copy. We both had got our copy, and he brought it to the Friday night game night, and we played it, and I really enjoyed it. But I haven't played it again until this month. I said, you know what? I want to get this back to the table, reacquaint myself so I can teach my wife how to play it. And in Seize the Beam, you are owners of a coffee shop, and you're trying to attract customers by upgrading your coffee shop and buying new and unique ingredients, and you're gathering resources. Like they got these really nice sugar cubes, and make sure kids don't see it because they might actually try to eat those things. And they got little milk cartons and little coffee beans, and this game is really, really fun. I like games where you're owning a shop, and you're trying to just build up your clientele. And I like the art because the different type of art of the clientele that comes into your store, and especially some of the upgrades. The upgrades are hilarious. So, Seize the Beam, I'm really glad I kickstarted it. I want to get to a point where I can know everything about it. That way I can introduce to my wife, because I think she would really like this game. So, that's it for this side of the video. Let's go to the next side. So like I said, in this second half of the video, I want to talk about some of the board games that I was introduced to with my Friday night game group. And these are more like first impressions because I just got like one play in. Now, the one thing that I appreciate about my Friday night, there's some great guys. Ted, Brian, and Ralph. They're great guys, and they have, brought me in, and I'm like learning so much from them. And they always get a lot of the new games, And so I look forward to playing these games. So the first game I want to talk about is probably my favorite game of the month of May. And my favorite new game. And that game is called Wonderlands War. So in Wonderlands War, it's set in the Alice in Wonderland world. And the inhabitants are at war. And in the first part of the game, we all go to the tea party. And we're all just having fun at the tea party, all the while gathering our forces. And we're building it's a bag builder. And we're acquiring tokens to put in our bag that we're going to use in the fight that happens in the second half of the game. So in the second half of the game, we're drawing tokens from our bag. And if we have forces in certain areas, we'll go to each area and draw tokens from the bag. And whoever wins the bag, whoever has remaining forces in that area, will win the points at the end of the round. And I am not a person that does area control. Well, this is more area majority. I don't know. But I really, really, really enjoyed this game. And I ended up having a score copy. Like, I am on I put myself on a board game diet where I'm just like, I purchase one game per month. That's it. Because I got so many board games that I'm trying to do, like, play my shelves. So this was the game that I had to, my other board game store had a Kickstarter copy of it, and I ended up scoring it, and I'm like, yes, I really do enjoy this game. And that's Wonderlands War. The next game I want to talk about is a game called Planet Unknown. Now, Planet Unknown is a polyomino tile placement game where we are building up our personal planet, building up different types of terrain, moving up this track. And the cool part about this game is you're drafting tiles from what is called a lazy Susan, which is something, I've heard the term mentioned before, but I never asked what exactly is a lazy Susan. And pretty much a lazy Susan is this tray that you have in the middle of the table. And on the player's turn, you turn this tray, and when you stop it and draft tiles from that side, but all the other players can draft tiles from their side. And like I say, you're just building up your planet, and you got these rovers that you can move around the planet, getting rid of meteorites and all that. And I really did like this game. I like tile placement games in general, but this one had that unique aspect of the lazy Susan. So I definitely will play this game again. I loved it, and that's my first impression of Planet Unknown. The next game on this list is, at the time of this recording, I got my Kickstarter copy of it, and that is Foundations of Rome. So in Foundations of Rome, the players are buying properties, and then placing buildings out into the central board. Now, Foundations of Rome it could have easily been a tile placement game. But they went so over and above by making, each player, instead of tiles, they actually had built-in miniatures. They have their own personal board of built-in miniatures that you can place out into the central board. So when the game is done, it looks like you've actually built this city, out into the middle of the play area. And the toy factor of this game is out there, but the game is actually really good. It's not hard, like I say, you're buying property, you're getting money, and then you're placing your buildings out into the board, and the game doesn't last long at all, so I'm glad I got my copy. I'm looking forward to showing this to my wife. She's probably gonna be like, wow, really? But that is Foundations of Rome. Really enjoyed this one. The next game I want to talk about is a game I'm kind of kicking myself by not taking a picture of the game board. I was so engrossed in the gameplay that I forgot to take a picture. But this is an older game that came out in 2018, and it's called Carpe Diem. And in Carpe Diem, you're building up your district, your city district in front of you, and you're drafting tiles. But the way you draft the tiles is so unique and that's why I'm mad that I didn't take a picture, because I probably could explain it better. But so you have these squares of tiles around the board, and you have your wooden meeple, and it could be in one of those squares, and it could go over to this side or over to this side. And if there's tiles there, you have to draft one of those tiles. If there's no tiles there, then you could just bump over to another area. How you do those stars or whatever. And just how you drafting those tiles is just so, interesting. So I really did enjoy this game. But now, this game is not pretty to look at, to say the least. I've heard that from a lot of people, and when I finally got a chance to look at it, I'm like, okay, I see what everybody's saying. But the game is really, really good. So I can look past that, Now, if you're trying to draw people in, because it's not a hard game, but if you're trying to draw people in just by the looks, this ain't the game for it. They're going to have to actually play the game and see why this game is really good. And that's Carpe Diem. The next game on this list is a simple card game. It just happened to be Friday the 13th when we were playing. So Ted brought out this game by Reiner Knizia called Friday the 13th. And Friday the 13th was really fun. So in this game, there's like 4 different types of cards. They're bad luck cards. There's Broken Mirror, Walking Under the Ladder, Black Cat, and then there's a wild card. And so what you're doing, there are 3 stacks of cards out in the middle of the table. And the cards have different values. And what you do on your turn is you're playing a card to one of those stacks. The wild card can go to any stack. But you're trying to make sure those values don't go over 13. If you go over 30, if you play a card where that stacks goes over 13, then the card you play stays out there and you gather the rest of those cards. And those cards are going to score you bad luck points at the end of the round. And so the game is going to last 4 rounds. And then whoever has the least amount of points or bad luck points is the winner of the game. And we played this twice, and I really enjoyed it. And he had a few copies of it, because I think he bought them on sale or whatever, and he gifted me a copy. So thanks, Ted. I'm looking forward to playing Friday the 13th when the next Friday the 13th shows up. So I really did enjoy this game. The next game that we played is a game that I actually had played before. I actually own the game. It's in my board game collection. But I've been trying to get in the habit of playing my shelves, And this game is called Maracaibo. Now, I'm a big fan of Maracaibo. I think it's my favorite Alexander Pfister game. And in this game, we are seafarers or privateers that are sailing around the Caribbean. We're, doing battle for France or England or Spain. We're also doing exploring actions. You're going exploring or whatever to score points. And I love the fact it has these multi-use cards. So you buy these cards, you can either trade the cards in for goods in order to gain special abilities, or you can play the card in front of you, use that as give you a special ability, or it'll score you points at the end of the game. And Maracaibo is really, really, really good. And like I said, I played this a couple times before, and I wanted to reacquaint myself. So it was my choice. I said, let's play Maracaibo. And I lost horribly, but I had fun. Yeah, and that's what it's all about, right? So that's Maracaibo. The next game on this list is a game that I said that in this year, I'm going to play this game. I bought this game a couple years ago on sale, and it's still in shrink wrap. And I still I said, you know what, I'm going to get this game off my shelf. And one of my board game group, they had a copy. They had the deluxe copy, so they brought it. And that game is called Goo Gong. And in Goo Gong, we take on the role of a Chinese family, prominent Chinese family who are trying to gain influence in the community, but we're using some through bribery, through some different, unsavory tactics. We're giving gifts, and like on the board, they have these gift cards. And they have a certain value. So if you come and exchange gifts and yours is of higher value, you get to do some things on the board. Like you help build the Great Wall, or you're trying to, get some jade, or you're trying to seek an audience with the emperor himself. And in order to win this game, you have to seek that audience. You have to get there. If you did everything else on this game, but did not get to see the emperor, you lost, So this game didn't wow me, and I actually won that one play, but this game didn't wow me like I thought it would. Like I said, my copy's still in shrink wrap, and I'm going to try it out again. but you know, I like Asian themed games, so I'm gonna give this one another shot, and that is Goo Gong. The next game is a game that I'm glad I had the chance to play because it was just a fun little game, and that game is called Asking for Troubles. So I am a Star Trek fan, you know, and you know, I remember in the first series of Star Trek, they had a show called The Trouble with Tribbles, where they had these little alien fur balls that were infecting the ship. And so this game is actually a play on that, where we are flying our ships around space, you know, to these different planets, gathering resources because we have to take out these troubles, you know. And there's different type of ships that's like models of ships from other series. So like my ship was actually the Guardians of the Galaxy ship. And, you know, this game was really cute and fun, you know. And, you know, in the game, you get to take the troubles over to the sun or whatever. That's pretty much how you're scoring points in the game. And I really did enjoy this game. But I would, if somebody brought it to the table, I'd be like, yeah, I'll play it. But it's not something I'm going to seek out, you know. But it was cool. And that is Asking for Troubles. So I'm almost done. I got 2 more games. So this next game is a game called Numiji, which I backed on Kickstarter, but have yet to receive my copy. And from the email, it seems like I'm not going to get my copy anytime soon because they don't have the funds at the moment, which kind of confuses me because Ted lives near me and then he got his copy. But I got a chance to play his copy of Numiji, made by the same people that did Takedo, which is one of my favorite games. And but Numiji is pretty much Takedo, but instead of going down this road, you are sailing around the ocean fishing, you know, and you're collecting different fish while making offerings, you know, and you are painting pictures that you see out into the wild. Now, in this game, this is not a game that you really need to own. Like, I'm not too bummed out about the fact that, you know, because I got so many other games to play. But I have to point out that the ships, the little ship miniatures, are beautiful in this game. And I am looking forward to getting my copy. When I get it, I get it, you know. And hopefully everything, you know, I don't end up losing money on it. You know, I'm not going to be too happy about that. But Numiji as a game, it's really, really cool. You know, it's cute. It's pretty. You know, like I said, I'm a big fan of Takedo. So I don't mind having both of them. You know, some people, you know, my wife probably be more attracted to the Numiji theme than the Takedo theme. But anyway, that is Numiji. And the last game on this list is a roll and write game called Long Shot the Dice Game. Now, I actually really did have fun playing this game. I mean, you know, once I started like wrapping my mind around it, like in this game, it's a horse race, you know, and you're rolling dice and placing bets, you know, taking the results that moves the horses around the track, and you're placing bets and influencing jockeys, and you are like dictating some of the movements. Like it might be a horse you really want to move, so you mark off like when this horse moves or whatever. And then once 3 horses make it across the finish line, you tally up the money, and whoever has the most money wins the game. Now, I don't usually gravitate to a game that, you know, where you're gambling, because I don't really gamble. I don't like losing money. But, you know, this was a really fun one, and I can see why a lot of people are really enjoying their plays of this game. And, you know, after my one play, this is my first impression, I would definitely play it again. And that's Long Shot the Dice Game. So those are the 21 games that I played in the month of May. Now, if I had to pick my favorite new games to me, it definitely would be Wonderlands War, with Foundations of Rome in close second. My favorite games that that I'm acquainted with, right now it is Everdell and Ark Nova. And let me know in the comments below, what are some of the games that you played in the month of May? And, what was your favorite? I hope I pronounced them right. Evan Diesel. I've been seeing that they've been playing Sleeping Gods, and I'm interested to know how that turned out. So leave that in the comments below. And if you like the contents of the video, feel free to hit the like button. And I hope that you enjoyed hearing about these games, And if you have, subscribe for more content. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. On Instagram and Facebook, I am highlighting local board game stores because I think they deserve a lot of love. You should check those board game stores out, and let me know which ones are in your area that you love to go to. And like I said, until next time, I'm Dwayne. This has been Blackboard Gaming, and I will see you next time.